Well, good morning. Welcome to another video on the channel. I don't know about this one. So I'm on another Farnham water. I'm at the Stillwater complex at the moment, where you've got a front lake and a back lake, or just a Stillwater lake and a back lake. I can't remember. There's two lakes here either way. And I am going to be going for Bream. As I failed miserably last time, I thought I'll give it another go. But the car park is very, very full. I've kind of slotted in between cars, but we'll see. I think I'll grab a bit of tackle and I'll go and have a walk around the place and see if we can find a decent swim, or a swim that looks like it can hold a bream or two. Sadly, I got up much later than I was supposed to. It seems to be a thing with me at the moment. I think it's just age. I think I'm just getting lazier and lazier, which is not a good thing. But I do value my sleep. So I was supposed to leave home at 6 this morning, but the snooze button was hit a few times. But hopefully we can get something out. The weather's supposed to be okay this morning, it seems. Quite overcast, perfect, but by 10 o'clock I think it's supposed to get very, very bright. It's not ideal and not my kind of conditions at all, but we'll see how we go. We'll see how long I could last in the sun. But let's get the kit, have a little wander around, see if we can catch a bream. Here's the swim. There's actually a lot of swims free along this bank. I don't know if that's for a reason, but as long as that's because they don't produce carp, I'm happy with that, because that's not what I'm here for. And in fact, I think, no, actually I wouldn't struggle if I caught one, maybe a big one. I've got 8-pound line on barbel rods, and they're going to be on alarm, so yeah, the swim has been chosen, and I'll go get the rest of the kit. I was just about to go and have a walk to the front lake or back lake, but I think by the look of it, it actually joins on to this lake. So if I keep walking, I'll end up at what I assume is the back lake, because it's smaller, and where I am is the front lake. That's what I'm assuming anyway. So yeah, we'll stick with the front lake and see how we get on to start with. Maybe give it a couple of hours, and maybe if nothing happens, we'll possibly have a move. But yeah, all right. Actually, get the kit out of the car now. Right, I'm just gonna change the feeder over. So I've still got the same flatbed feeder from when I fished on Pump House. I decided to go both on cage feeders, and then use maggots as hook bait. I think that's going to be the way forward, but we'll see. Now, what I've seen most people do on here is they do a few casts on the clip. Sorry, I thought someone was lurking behind me. Yes, they do a few casts on the clip, get a bit of bait out. But there's quite a few people on the other side. I don't want to annoy anyone. I may just do a couple of casts. And then, yeah, see how we go. Maybe recast every 10 minutes or so with some fresh ground bait. Now I am going to fish to the clip, which does frighten me a bit, But, well, it's not really a carpy tactic, so hopefully it'll be fine. So let's get these into the pond. Let's see if we can catch a bream or two, or three. Or if it's like it's been recently, none. Just had a bite on the right hand rod. Oh, there we go, the rod. Well, it's a fish. Just not quite the fish I'm after. There we go. Beautiful little roach. But not the bream. So let's stick her back, or he, and see if we can actually catch a bream. Well, before I was interrupted by the huge roach. I was going to say both rods are now out, so I've got the right hand rod set a little bit closer in, a gentle overhead. Left hand rod is probably just under halfway across the lake. I put maybe, what did I put, 2 feeder loads out. I decided to in the end because I thought, well, why not? And then clipped on the rig and out she went. So yeah, it's just a case of sitting back and waiting now. See how it unfolds. At least I've caught something, which is more than I did on my last session. So I'm optimistic. Well, I just gave them a little recast. Not a lot happening. Maybe the odd little beep. Fishing fairly tight lines though, so it's bound to happen. I'll keep plodding along. Every 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes, I'll just top up the feeder, check the maggots, and yeah, just see how it goes. It's a lovely lake though, beautiful and quiet. Obviously just sat here and I'm watching spods going where everyone's probably waking up and getting some fresh bait out for the carps. So still optimistic, still can happen. Even if I had one decent bream, it would be an improvement on my last session. But you know, they could be all up that end of the lake. I just need to wait for them to hopefully turn up and find the bait. And then as soon as I catch one, then I think I'll probably go in a little harder on the bait. Recast more often when I know they're there. Not very confident they're anywhere near me at the moment, but sadly there's not a lot of choice. I could go further down the lake towards the car park. It gets a little bit thinner, but that's about it really. There is little spaces dotted in between people, but I think if I just start thrashing a feeder around in between 2 carp anglers, it's probably won't go down too well. But I'm happy here. So hopefully something turns up. bloody freezing. I didn't really bring anything warm with me because when I looked at the weather yesterday, I saw all the sunshines and thought, yeah, just a hoodie and a t-shirt will do me fine, and some joggers. I am freezing. I mean, I am fishing sort of into the wind. That's always a good bet when you're bream fishing. But it is quite cold. I think it's only like not 10 degrees at the moment, I think at the most. I mean, it's supposed to get up to 18 degrees later on, but that's later on. There's quite a strong breeze pushing into me. But if it brings bream, I'm happy, which it hasn't yet. But we'll gloss over that. Well, just about to go and have the call of nature. But there are some geese with their babies next to the gate. And they're not looking very happy. I think if I get too close, I could get lynched. I'm just creeping forward, hoping that they'll move. There we go. We're safe. I know from experience that they can get quite violent when you go near their babies. Okay, right. I'll continue to the dump station. That's the call of nature sorted out. So I've got the rods back out, back on the spots. I can't remember if I said now, but both rods are clipped up, so I can land them back on the same spot each time. So it's nice and easy. I've kind of got markers on the far bank. There's a big tree to my left, or for my left rod straight out, and then a tree next to that is my right rod. Now, I've got one shorter, one longer, for the reason that if I get a lot of bites on one of them, then I'll adapt the other. Sadly, I haven't had a lot of bites on either, so can't really judge on that. But they're back out. Fresh bit of a ground bait. It's important as well with ground bait. Like I make my ground bait up. I sometimes make it up the day before, but most of the time I make it up on the bank. So one of the first things that I do is make the ground bait and slightly over wet it, so slightly too damp. And then by the time I've finished sorting everything out, it's normally absorbed it all, and it still needs a little bit of water. And then throughout the day, you'll find you'll have to add a little bit of water, especially if it's warm. It goes crispy very quickly. It's not warm, but it's still drying out, so not far off every cast. I'm just literally putting a splash of water in there, not a lot. One thing I didn't bring with me actually is I normally put a bit of flavouring, like for bream I'd normally use like a molasses or a halibut type, but sweet flavourings work as well. But I didn't bring any with me, and would it have made a difference? Who knows? Who knows? Probably going to give it another half hour, and I might reel them in and walk, because I haven't walked all the way down to the very far end of the, what would be the back lake, I believe, just to see if there's any decent sort of areas there. If there is, I may wander up and move up there, if nothing happens within the next hour or so. Might have a kip. We'll see how things go. just went for a wander up to the back lake, see how busy that was. And that's even busier than this one. I don't think there was a swim free on it. Absolutely packed. So, it's what to do. Do I stay? Do I go somewhere else? You know, I have only been here 2 hours, 3 hours maybe. I think I should stick it out. You know, the Bream may just turn up at some point. I've got to be off sort of 2, 3-ish. It's a bit of a shame, but it seems to be the case at the moment. But I think we'll get the rods back out and just see what happens. What else can I do? Right, just put the rods back out. Again. Left hand rod left exactly how it was. Just put more ground bait on, fresh maggots, and chucked it out to the clip. Right hand rod I've actually put in the margins, about a rod length out, and then about 3 rod lengths that way. Been baiting it for the last hour or so with just a handful of maggots here and there. So just see if that brings anything in. I've just read in the book, and there's actually some very large eels in here. They've had them up to sort of £8, which would be incredible if I could catch one of those, but I thought maybe they might come round the margins, scavenging with the maggots, or for the maggots. May or may not work. Running out of sort of ideas really. I could change the bait over to some plastic sweet corn or something like that, or some actual sweet corn. I just think, you know, bream and all the other fish, perch, roach, rudd, the maggots would be the one. Maybe not. I just feel like I'm really struggling at the moment. Obviously I had a couple of sessions ago on Stockbridge Lake. Superb, absolutely superb fishing that was. That was feeder fishing with a quiver rod rather than this kind of fishing. Just everything seemed to work. It went brilliantly. Caught loads of beautiful tench. It doesn't seem to be working anywhere else since. Pump house, where I was previous to here, failed miserably, but then the conditions were horrendous and I didn't have a lot of time. I have more time today, but not a huge amount. But it's still not working. I contemplated moving, but there's no guarantee it's not going to be the same elsewhere. I know if I go to Stockbridge Lake, where I caught all those tench, chances are that'll be quite quiet, because it was last time I was there. I don't think because it doesn't contain hardly any carp anyway, it just doesn't get as busy. I don't really have the tactics with me though for that. I mean, I do have my feeder rod, but I don't actually know if I've even got the feeder arm for my chair, so it could be a bit tricky. But I've fished there. I wanted to keep trying different places. There's Badshot Lee Small Pond, which doesn't seem to get that busy, but knowing my luck, I'll turn up and it will be. I don't know. Still, beautiful to be out, relaxing, chilling. After starting a new job 2 weeks ago. It's been quite full on. So yeah, a nice bit of relaxed, chill time is just what the doctor ordered. Not much else I can do. I think I'll just sit back, chill, see what happens. Well, absolutely naffle is happening here. Nada, zip, nothing. So I think, well, it's not think, I have decided that I'm going to do one. I'm going to leave, and I think I'm going to head to Badshot Lee Complex. We are near enough midday now. I know I'm going to be pushing my time a little bit over what I was going to be doing, I think, but it's only 9 minutes up the road from here. And I'll either jump on the Badshot Lee Small Pond, or I'll go on King's Lake, I think it's called, or something like that. King's Lake? Something like that. King's Pond, that's the one. If I go on King's Pond, I'll just take my my feeder rod and use that. It's not really the place to take 2 rods on alarms. I think there's quite a lot of small fish in there. But if Badshot Lee Small Pond is not too busy, then I'll jump on there with this same setup. So I think I'm going to pack down, get on the road, and head there. I think. No, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it right now. Well, Badshot Lee Small and Large Pond are pretty much rammed. But King's Pond has got a bit of space. So we'll go for some tiddlers for the rest of the day, I think. Just adapt the kit, and then we'll head round there. Right, well, we are here. We are on King Pond with a very tangled reel. There we go. So tactics, I am going to go for the flatbed feeder. I'm going to start with maggots to get some bites, hopefully. And then I'll maybe move on to pellet. Let's see how we get on. I'm sat in a very weird position. I'm sat to the side of the swim because the swim is flooded. I don't want to get covered in mud, or all my stuff covered in mud. So I'm going to sit to the right hand side. I'm actually going to cast to the right into a little bay, which I think will be perfect for a few fish. Still windy. After carrying all the kit round to here, I'm actually quite warm. I'm just trying to get the line through the last 2 eyes. In the wind, it's not easy. I could stand up and do this to make life easier, but I'm not. That's the line through there. I think I'm going to go and put some bait in the margins up around the corner where I'm going to be casting to. Let's see what happens. Well, the rod's in. Already getting a few taps. Like that. I think there's a fair few fish in here. Oh, I'm snagged. Who am I snagged? Well, it was a quick bite, but it went straight into something, snapped the hook link off. So I think we'll forget that area. And we'll just fish sort of straight out in front of me, I think. Oh well, at least there's a bite. Oh, the sun keeps coming out. What's that all about? Himself squinting on the camera. I'll have to get my Polaroids out in a minute. I just missed one. And I won't. I just did. Oh dear. Oh dear. Polaroids in hand. I got one on. I think it's only a wee one. What we got? We have a tiny little carp. Look at this. Look at that. Stunning little fish. Stick my mats underneath me, which it is. There we go, look at that. First fish. Well, here. Let's slip her back. Alright. Now it's definitely sunny. Let's stick the Polaroids though. Oh dear, where's... okay. We'll go back out with the maggots for the minute. Let's look around back on. It may seem a bit odd walking into the next swim every time I cast, but it's just easier to do it from there. I would be sat in that swim fishing that spot if it wasn't so flooded, but I can get to it fine from here. Just plop it in, a few maggots around it. Hopefully, off she goes. Potentially slightly bigger. I do mean slightly. It's not. Just only just. Any bigger and that would have needed a net. Look at that. Perfection in miniature.
Lovely. Let's slip her back. Well, we've got another little fella on. Is this one going to need the net? No. Another beautiful little mirror. Absolutely stunning. Well, I was hoping for one more, but for some reason it's just died a death. Died a death? Is that a thing? Either way, it just seems to have shut up shop. But yeah, it's been an interesting day. A couple of different venues, a couple of different methods. Some fish caught, not what I was going for. But it was all good fun. Any time on the bank is just fantastic, really. So I'll leave it there. So thank you very much for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.